So the idea today is going to be taxes. The idea of taxes is to talk to you about all the important things you will need to know when you all will do well in life, when you're earning, and eventually, and I'm hopeful, most of you will pay taxes. Now, it's very interesting. Do you think you all pay taxes today? Who says no? So everybody agrees on a universal truth that you pay taxes. Fair assumption. What is the biggest tax you pay today as students? Fantastic. What is GST? Okay. Can you break up what goods are and what services are? Let's do services first. One second, someone's talking here, sorry. Yeah? Give me an example. Do you know what GST you pay? Do you pay GST or do you say I'll give in cash, no GST? There's a different rate, right? Correct. Correct. What do you know what the GST on salon services are? Fantastic. Very high GST, right? You all use Uber and Ola? Do you know you all pay a GST on that? Do you all stay in hotels? You all pay GST on that. There's two rates for hotels. Are you all aware? There's two rates of GST for hotels. Are you all aware? Somebody said yeah. You said yeah? Yeah, so effectively there's a certain price point. I believe it's some 6,000. If it's 6,000, the GST is 12%. But I'm assuming all of you all are wanting to live in the hotels that you see on Instagram, etc. They're typically more expensive, 18% GST. So if the rack rate or the room rate is 6,000, your GST is 12%. Still 12%, up to 6,000. I think, you can correct me and check, like genuinely. So for a lot of people, paying the GST is like paying a tax, correct? So if somebody earns, hypothetically, 20 lakhs a year, his ability to pay GST at 18% is far higher than someone who earns a 3 lakh or a 4 lakh salary of a chauffeur, of a house help, or a security person. So GST is very different depending on your income tax and your tax bracket. All right? So you had GST, right? Anyone else? So that's why a lot of people say, why should I pay taxes? I don't earn so much. Right? So this is a very good argument. It's more philosophical argument. Have you all been outside India? Most of you all have. Let's say Dubai for that matter. Dubai has got a lower rate of GST, or they call it a sales tax. Canada has between 7 and 10% depending on the province. I'm sorry, America has between 7 and 10% depending on the province. Canada has got a universal rate. So taxation for a lot of people is also a philosophical argument. Should you actually pay taxes? You're all going to say no because you all have zero income. Logical, right? So your cohort will say, I don't want to pay taxes because what do I get out of it? You all are barely legal enough to vote this year. You all can't decide policy. You all don't have income. So frankly for you, why the hell should it matter? Like I said, I'm very hopeful that you all will all do really well in life and pay some tax. Fair assumption to make? Is there an assumption that somebody will never ever pay tax in their lives? You can put your hand up, that's okay. Point still is that one should always, always, always pay your legally allowed income tax. There are tax benefits you can take. There are tax arbitrages you can do, but all within the legal framework. All right? Very simple thing. Only 3 constants in life, right? Change, death, taxes. Only 3 things. And I can put my entire life into these 3 things. I will change, I will die, and I will pay taxes. Tell me somebody who's avoided all these 3 in their lives, and I will change my name. You think at 18 you're unbeatable? Give it 20 years. I promise you. Death, hopefully you will live to 100, assuming we do well in genetics, etc. But yeah, you will live a longer life than most. And if you're at my age, you will see people in this room next to you, unfortunately, passing away. It happens, right? It's a sad subject, but the fact is still, you have to be very aware of all these things. And the third, and all governments love this, taxes. All right? You're with me so far? You understand why it's important for you? Not yet? Okay. What are taxes? I'm asking you. Something you have to pay to the government. So they can run the country, or a city, or a state. In India, typically, there are state taxes, there are central taxes, there are municipal taxes, right? Any other taxes? Customs duty. How many of you all do online shopping and your parcels are stopped? Right? So there are many forms of taxes. Any other view on taxes? Man, you're all very happy paying taxes. Any controversial takes on taxes? A business tax? Okay. So it's goods or services? So my suggestion again to you is, whenever you think we are paying a tax, is again, look further, dive into it. Question is, when you speak about anything taxes, always have a comparative. Now I'm going to ask you, what is the rate of income tax in New Zealand? Correct. So again, when we make a statement, what we have to figure out is the Indian tax system. If you want to compare our neighbors, the Bangladeshi system, the Sri Lankan system, or if you want to compare a country we aspire to be, the American, the Canadian, the British, the Japanese, or the Chinese tax system. So there are two types of taxes, personal income tax and corporate income tax. Okay? So again, what you're saying, Vihan, is more philosophical argument about taxes, but that's okay. A lot of it is shaped by the governance of the country at that time. India at one point had 98% income tax. Can you believe it? So we have seen eras of 98% income tax, where the Tata, Birla, Ambanis of that era itself could not afford the taxes. Why was that? Because we were a socialist country at that, or at least we were considered to be a socialist country. Right? You understand this? Socialism, capitalism, fundamentally, just at a basic level. Yeah. Sorry? Socialist country means effectively the government takes care of most of the stuff. Everything is subsidized, funded, higher rates of taxes. Government has a far greater role in delivery of services. Capitalism is more entrepreneurial. I'm telling you at a very fundamental, skin-deep level, okay? Now you can go and study. I mean, I would not recommend you study either. You do what you think is right and what's fair. But that's what it is. Capitalism is more, I'm going to earn myself. I want the government not to interfere. I'm smart enough, I'm entrepreneurial enough to finish it off, or whatever work I'm doing. Okay? So we broadly an agreement of what taxes are. All okay, not clear still? Anything else? Any doubts? One more chance to leave, all right? So again, simple. Should we pay taxes? Who says no? Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say we shouldn't pay taxes. So I'm the only one who thinks we shouldn't pay taxes, for the sake of argument. So you all agree we should pay taxes. To an extent, you agree. So can we pay 80% income tax? 70%? 60? Depends. Depends on what? On what? On your income. 50% income tax? 30%? Okay. That's where we're at. 20%? 20%. So you think India should pay a flat 20% income tax across all slabs? 10%? 10% income tax. Okay. And why do you think that is? Why are you not keen on paying higher taxes? Sorry? You earn for yourselves. Fantastic. What else? The more you earn, the more you'll pay. Okay, what else? Fantastic point. Higher the taxes, higher the tax evasion. The girl at the back? The government? Correct. So what you're telling me, I'm paraphrasing, I'm understanding what you're trying to understand, is you don't think the delivery of physical infrastructure is commensurate with the taxes you pay? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know, I'm asking you. You're not happy with the road, you're not happy with the air quality, water quality, cleanliness, something like that? It could be better. Okay, fair enough. So what you're trying to say is effectively you don't mind paying higher taxes if the delivery of services is better. Is that fair? Okay. That's a great point again. Anyone else? Someone was saying something here? Yeah. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to give others a chance. Yeah. The girl with the jacket. Yeah. Fantastic. Correct. Correct. You'll have all, sorry, just one thing. You'll have all taken a flight at some point. Can I assume that safely? So 90% of you have taken a flight at some point. Have you looked at your ticket ever? You know something called a UDF? User Development Fee. Do you know what that is? Do you like the airports you have today in India? Very good. So GST, can you think of any other taxes you all have paid? Sorry? VAT. You'll have, just one second. VAT. Have you paid it recently? You've seen, have you paid any taxes? I'm not talking to your dad. Have you paid any taxes? You paid the bill. So you had a business effectively. Interstate business, transportation, distribution, something. Okay, fair enough. So anything else? Excise. Who said excise? Where have you last time paid excise? Sorry? Correct. Fantastic. So diesel, petrol, alcohol today are not under GST. Why is that? Fantastic answer. Which batch are you in? UG1. Great. So the state said, let us tax fuel and alcohol, which is a very large generator of state revenue, where a state can control the taxes. Broadly, I'm just giving you a very rough, basic understanding. Which is why today, when you go to a restaurant, you'll get, if you all drink, I don't know, but if assuming you all do, you'll get two bills, food and alcohol separately, because the taxes are different on it. Correct? So my point is, taxes are there everywhere you look. Please spend some more time studying the taxes. I'm not saying calculate the tax. I'm not saying study the tax. Right? So the point I'm trying to make is understand the taxes you're paying. Ask yourself, are these taxes important? For example, this is a controversial take. Is a service charge a tax? No, yes, I don't know. Service charge. Service charge. Who said that? Yes, what else? Who thinks it's a tax? Very good. Who said that? Fantastic, man. You should come up and talk like that. Service charge is effectively a tax, optional. It's built into the cost of where you eat. Some people view it as a tax, but it's actually not. Anything that goes to the government is a tax, either directly or indirectly. Right? Understood? Yes? No? So we have agreed. Should we pay taxes? We've all said yes. Are they important? You all said yes. And you'll have said that some of the taxes you've paid. Any other taxes? TDS is not a tax, actually. So what tax are you paying for TDS? Correct. But what tax that goes against? Perfect. Who said income? Yeah. TDS is nothing but you're prepaying some income tax. And what is TCS? TCS is tax collected at source. You're all going to travel abroad, I'm assuming this year, most of you. They now take a 5% on the cost of your ticket or your hotel booking. Are you all aware of this? Travel agents. Think about it. TCS will impact all of you. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Now, if we're fighting with a country like China and India, we are fighting, whatever. It's a political thing. They've attacked us. We have claimed them. So we put an export duty on them. If they're dumping into India, they're just producing below cost and they're just selling into India, we can put an anti-dumping duty. It keeps changing. But typically, there's no country-specific tax. Because we used to be, we still are part of the WTO in some certain aspects. Now we're trying something called free trade agreements between countries. So taxes are linked geopolitically, economically, and politically. So view all taxes with this prism and lens. Yeah. There's actually a Supreme Court justice in the US. And they consider him the father of the American taxation system. Till about 1920s and 30s, America didn't have any income tax. So very interesting. Our friend here was making this argument, right? Lower taxes translate to higher spending power. We all agree? Lower taxes means whoever gives you money every month, every week, except for that one champion who works, I think. Where is he? There we go. So apart from him, where he says he earns his own money, lower taxes could benefit you how? You'll have more money, you'll spend more money, you'll get more money from your guardians or parents. Sorry? Fantastic. More to invest. This is the answer, but I got the last fourth point. So I think right to better infrastructure, development, and security. Right? So there's a famous quote that India got liberal before we became developed. Did I say this right? You understood? India became liberal before we became developed. Liberal in what sense? Fantastic. In what sense? No. So in the developing phase of a country, there are certain things you have to overlook. You think America didn't cut trees? You think Canada doesn't cut trees? You think Norway, Sweden, you all like the Norway-Sweden model, right? Everything is great, 70% income tax, they don't pay for education. But you have to see what happened before, right? So I think you need to have a right to better infrastructure, development, security. Now this could be at a national level, this could be at a domestic level. The eventually bit in the third point is genuinely eventually. So you all are 18, let's say 17 to 22, let's be fair to everybody. I hope you all earn before that, because if you all are going to do a PhD, then till about 30 years of age, it's unlikely you'll make any significant income. And I'm also assuming that most of you all are not doctors. Sorry? Yeah. Just assuming you all are not doctors. It'll matter to you eventually, the taxation, the rate. And it'll also matter to you if you save money. So lower tax means not lower, means more kharcha, means for me personally it was higher investment rate. Because frankly, I didn't want to do a job eventually, right? I want to do a job I love, fending for myself, and for me money was the most important thing. So again, all the topics I've spoken about, scams, budgets, taxes, these are very important, actually life skills more than anything else. So this financial literacy is more life skill, at least the three topics I've covered, right? So boring stuff now, two kinds of taxes, there's direct taxes, indirect taxes, Direct taxes are income tax, gift tax, capital gains, STT, indirect taxes you all are all well aware of. Do you not understand any of these taxes? STT. Who said STT? Anyone else said STT? Okay. The people who said STT, have you ever bought a stock? Okay, so effectively a securities transaction tax. So any brokerage bought on any exchange in India attracts a tax known as the STT tax. It's a form of indirect taxation. Brokerage is not a tax, it's a service. Taxes go to the government, either directly or indirectly. Brokerage is not tax. STT, securities transaction tax. No, it's given to the government straight. So you pay a percentage of that. If you stay back, I'll show it to you. VAT, yeah, very interesting. So VAT was in a system where every state had different taxes. Every state had different taxes. So Maharashtra had different taxes, Tamil Nadu different taxes, Karnataka different taxes, Haryana different taxes. So what did GST do? One country, one nation, one tax. So today VAT is only on the GST exempt goods, right? Anyone knows what GST exempt goods are? We just covered it. Okay, so it's a technical thing. Of course not. You'll only pay tax on money you earn. Very difficult. Now how you will do it? But then how will you survive? Paisa kidhar se aayega? You have to keep funding it, no, at some point. You have to fund losses. Yeah. Delay, yeah. If you don't sell a stock, do you pay tax? If you don't sell a property, do you pay tax? That's delay, right? That's all. Delay. Whatever is legally allowed. Again, legally allowed. You can also put exemptions. There's PPF you can put in. There's 50,000 you can put in. For, I think for girls, it's 2,50,000 approximately. You can take exemption. There's NPS. There's a lot of benefits. So there's one slide covering that as well. So two kinds of taxes, direct, indirect taxes. Just have a look at it. Very simple. I've used 54-point format for you guys. All right. The fundamental difference between direct and indirect is, in direct taxes, you pay the government of India straight, the income tax department. In indirect taxes, it's not a direct tax. You don't pay directly. You pay a body called the Central Body of Indirect Taxes, and your restaurant, your Uber guy, your service charge guy, etc., they pass on the tax to the government. Because they show a sale, they charge a GST. That's the fundamental difference between direct and indirect taxes. Income tax slides. So up to 2,50,000, there is no tax. From 2,50,000 to 3 lakh, there's 5%. 3 lakh to 5 lakh, again 5%. 5 lakh to 10 lakh, 20%. 10 lakh and above, 30%. There are certain exemptions based on age and gender. But the point is, I don't know whether you all are aware of this. I just thought I'll put it out there. And if you're not claiming any deductions, for example, house rent, house interest, loans, exemption under PPF, exemption under 50,000 NPS, your taxes are the below. So nil, 5% till 5 lakh, 10%. Okay. So depending on your sort of situation, you can do these calculations. Again, don't worry about it. But just remember, in India, we tax between 5 and 30% up until 10 to 15 lakhs. So it's important. You're all aware of these tax slabs? Yes, I think few people were, few people weren't. Sorry? What about above? So she wants to pay more tax. Basically, she wants to earn more money. Fantastic. Fantastic. You're right. What about above? Again, the limits are 30% to 50 lakhs. And above 50 lakhs, it becomes a cess and a super surcharge. 1 crore and above, 2 crores and above. CTC, cost to company. So 15 lakhs on that, then you might have some rental income. Possible, no? There's employee provident fund and there's public provident fund. Yeah, yeah. EPF. So you're asking me two different things. Exactly. You ask me CTC. You can reduce. No, you can reduce it officially. You can have some exemptions, some mutual funds. There are certain slabs. You can reduce it. Again, we'll take this later on. Stay here. We'll answer all your questions. But the point is, you can legally reduce a lot of your taxes. Okay, guys. Do I have you guys? How much income tax do you pay in India? Between 5 and 30% on average. Okay? Somebody was asking me, were you only asking me GST on goods? There we go. This is 2021 data. There could be one or two mistakes. I could not find a better graphic, frankly, I'll tell you. Yeah, yeah. These are all goods. Everybody hates this category, by the way. It's 28%. Everyone hates it. States, all the states have to come together and decide the GST rates, right? Which is why people prefer to do excise, where they can decide the rates themselves. So amusement park is 28%. Can you believe it? But income taxes, guys, we've covered GST. Yeah. So so the lady over here mentioned why they run separately. The right to tax is with the central and state government. It was made, guys, 1 second. When our constitution was made, the state was allowed to tax, center was allowed to tax. The right way, because smaller states, more sort of localized taxation is far more effective, I think. However, GST is 9% central tax, 9% state tax. What all it's doing is, first the state used to collect it directly, now the center is collecting it and giving it back. Security, we want better development, and we want privately managed airports, right? So you're all for taxes. You're just for a lower rate and better compliance. Is that fair to understand? More transparency. So you need accountability. Fantastic. Anything else? Okay, quickly. Just some data points for you guys. So when somebody says India pays no tax, we have very high taxes, remember India is here. See where Canada is. Now who wants to immigrate to Canada? You're okay paying 54% tax? Good. What else? Maharashtra, Delhi and Karnataka contribute almost 50% of India's taxes. This year, do you know how much income tax India collected? It's there, no? Personal income tax, 9.6 trillion.